Casting from the basement of La Penta, it's WICR.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Sports Fall Jersey. Joe Archino back here, and the Champions League semifinal fixtures have been set. We will have Manchester City taking on Real Madrid, and then we will also have Atletico Madrid taking on Bayern Munich. Now, they're great matchups. There's no doubt about that. I don't think any of us have been doubting the quality of the matchups that we will have, but I think one of the things that has to be, the points that has to be communicated right off the bat is no FC Barcelona in this semifinal opens the door for everyone. It doesn't matter if you're Manchester City or if you're Atletico Madrid. The door is open. All four of these clubs have a real chance to win this competition. Now, of course, some have more of a chance than others, but Barcelona had such an invincibility factor to them. It just, from the 39 match unbeaten streak to the way that they played this year, they had such an invincibility factor around them. Everyone really had this belief that there was no human possibility that they wouldn't repeat as champions. But now we know that is not going to happen, and I think it opens the door up for all four of these clubs to really get it done, because no one realistically thought that anyone except Bayern Munich could challenge them for the UEFA Champions League title this season. But now that they're out of it, I really could make an argument for all four of these clubs to win the title. But of course, that won't happen. And I think maybe from an interesting perspective, the most fascinating matchup for the final would be Manchester City versus Bayern Munich. Pep Guardiola facing the club he will become the manager of next season, and how incredible would it be for Manuel Pellegrini to kind of stick it to the guy who's going to be replacing him and win the title for Manchester City. But I think in terms of a strength factor, Man City probably comes into this competition with the least chance to win it, but a lot of it for them, their road here, which is the first time in club history this has ever happened. They've never been to the semifinals of the Champions League. Sometimes you just need to get breaks to get this far, and they really have gotten some really beneficial matchups to this point, and that's all you need sometimes. They've been on the other end in this competition many times, drawing against Barcelona in the round of 16. They've had some tough early matches in the previous years, which have halted them from advancing further. But this season, it just really has all gone their way, and now they find themselves in the semifinals against, of course, Real Madrid, which is as tall a task as there is. And history certainly is not on Manchester City's side. You look at the last 17 times a La Liga team and then a Premier League club have faced off against each other. The La Liga club has won 16 times out of the 17. So history tells you that the English clubs don't have as good of a chance in this competition. But when you look on paper, and the problem is you don't play on paper, but on paper, Manchester City has the talent to go toe-to-toe with the Real Madrid. The problem is that talent doesn't play well together all the times. They're not a very connected club, and that's a major problem. It has been in the Premier League this season. It's why they haven't been able to beat any of the top clubs, and in this competition, they have gotten some breaks. They've played Dynamo Kiev. I thought PSG in the last round was the best matchup they could have gotten, and now they find themselves taking on Real Madrid, which again is an incredible task. And Real Madrid has found so much confidence, and once they beat Barcelona in El Clasico Part 2, they really found themselves. They were looking for that identity for so long. They never had it with Rafa Benitez. Zinedine Zidane comes in. He starts to put together a semblance of an identity. Then there's a little bit of a rough patch there. But now it seems like they have found it again. And realistically, if you have to make the picks now, I think everyone's probably going Real Madrid against Bayern Munich. But Bayern Munich's defense is not perfect. It really is not. Like Barcelona. Barcelona has the best attacking trio in the world. They have one of the best midfields in the world. But those two things really cover up what's not a great defense. And Bayern Munich is a very similar situation. And tactically, you've got I think the two best tacticians in the world going up against each other. You look at what Diego Simeone and then you look at what Pep Guardiola, the two of them, they're as good tactically as there is in world football. And watching the two of them go head-to-head, it is a world-class chess match and is going to be an incredible watch to see. And I just Bayern Munich has the talent over Atletico Madrid, but that's never a problem for Atletico Madrid because the thing I like the most about Diego Simeone is he's never stuck with trying to play one way, one tactical formation. He is always going to try to bring a different game plan. He's always not afraid to change things up. He will always custom tailor his game plan to whatever he needs to make adjustments to it. Some managers are stubborn and they're not always willing to make such difficult and different adjustments on a game-in, game-out basis, but that has never been a problem for Diego Simeone. And his clash against Pep Guardiola is going to be the most difficult one that they have faced. But I think if I had to make the calls now, Bayern Munich over Atletico Madrid in a very competitive one, and then you've got Real Madrid over Manchester City. But Manchester City is such an interesting one because all season they haven't really lived up to their what they should have been doing. But they're such a dangerous side to face because the talent is there. This is a competition that they've played their best in. Although they haven't played their best in the Premier League, they've saved their best for for the ultimate prize in Europe, and that makes them very dangerous, and especially for a side like Real Madrid, who have had moments where they've been outcoached this season and still do have a little bit of instability, although they found a little bit more confidence. That's a very difficult matchup, and especially Sergio Aguero, who's had his fair deal of success against that club throughout his career. It's a dangerous club to play against, but I don't think without Vincent Kompany at top tier health, I don't think that they can because defensively they're just nowhere near good enough. Real Madrid is way too good offensively. But again, Kevin De Bruyne is a different beast, and with him healthy, City has a chance, and these are great matchups. But again, I think the biggest point of all, no Barcelona, no threat of FC Barcelona changes the landscape. It opens up the door for all four of these clubs to potentially win the competition. But I think on a safe bet, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich are the best two clubs in this competition left, and they will advance to the final. But they're all great matchups. They all have a chance, and I think when you look at it on paper, Diego Simeone, Pep Guardiola, you look at Zinedine Zidane, and then you look at Manuel Pellegrini. All four of those guys have the ability to get their guys ready and to change things up. They all are not stuck with one way of playing, and that's what makes game planning for them so difficult. And all four of those managers have a lot of work cut out for them, but we as the fans are going to be very lucky to watch these matches play out. Until then, Jersey Joe Archino here with the Sports Vault. You can follow me on Twitter at Joe Archino and on Instagram Jersey_Joe_Archino, and I'll see everybody next time.